Coming up on Up at Noon, 2016, not a great year to be a Nintendo fan. Aliens is turning 30 and is releasing cool sneakers to celebrate, and a favorite childhood drink is making its spooky return. All that and more right now on Up at Noon, which is actually live this week.
Oh no! So it's lame if we both dance. If one of us is doing it,
I was doing air drums. I was doing the backing
beat. That's like a
beat.
dance of your hands.
How do you think that music gets made? It's a real band in here every week.
That music is from a stock audio website. Someday that's going to show up in like a car commercial, and we're going to have like a dozen people tweeting at us, be like, "Yo, I just heard the Up at Noon theme on Geico."
Do you guys get royalties?
My old show, the Destructoid show, we used stock music too, and one of the stock tracks showed up in Saints Row the Third, and everyone's like, "Oh, nice little nod there, Saints Row," and I was like, "Nope, totally not the case."
We both have pirated Killer Tracks logins.
Yep,
that's about it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Up at Noon Live, which is actually, thankfully, live this week. If you're watching us. I never know how to do this. This is the most awful intro. In the future, if you'd like to watch us live, there are a number of ways you can do that. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, PS4, Xbox One, Roku, Apple TV, and now for the first time, Facebook. So, hello everybody who's watching us on Facebook.
Hi.
If someone said that we have and I can't say one of these words, S-word sensationalist headline because we said, did Nintendo ruin Christmas? Well, we're going to get to that in a second. If you want to tweet at us, it's like I said, we're on a bunch of different things, so it's kind of hard to track all of that, but we try to keep an eye out. On Twitter, we use the hashtag #UpAtNoon to kind of track and get all the things. So if you want to tell us that we're looking nice today.
Or weird.
Or gross, whatever, I don't care.
I'm cool with all those things.
I'd like to thank our sponsor. Thank you, sponsor. Quantum Break. They were kind enough to sponsor the show about us covering our desks with nightmares and awful, awful things.
Yeah, this sad childhood garage sale that we pitch every week here.
Quantum Break is a very, very pretty game where you can leap through time and do all kinds of funky tricks.
Punch a guy in the face.
Yeah.
You can do that for the first time ever. First video game that'll ever let you do that.
It is the first game that lets you punch someone in the face.
Yeah, that's true.
True facts.
It's on the box.
Thanks for sponsoring our show. I'm so sorry. All right, so obviously the big news that we want to talk about is Nintendo.
Yeah.
Announced.
Jesus.
What? Why?
How do you do that?
Stop putting those back there, Zach.
I played this game like 1,000 times. I didn't know you could do that. That's horrible.
I don't want to see that anymore. Anyway, Nintendo announced that the NX will not be coming out this year, as some of us were kind of expecting. It'll be shooting for a March 2017 worldwide release. And that the new Zelda that we've all been looking forward to for the Wii U is going to be coming to both NX and Wii U, and also in 2017.
Yeah, and they did not specify whether or not the new Zelda game would be a NX launch title, which I think, had they done that, it would have softened the blow a little bit.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite things was sort of getting a Wii and getting Twilight Princess, and being able to play a brand new Zelda game on day one with a new console. It's kind of huge to have a launch game like that.
Yep. I mean, historically, launch games kind of suck.
Yeah.
And historically, Zelda games never suck.
Yeah.
So having a Zelda game as a launch game kind of cancels out that like usual lineup of like, hey, it's your favorite party shovelware and Ridge Racer.
Yeah, or Knack.
It's something by Ubisoft.
So it's weird, right? Because it's like, okay, so good things are coming, and that's awesome news. Like I think it's finally really cool to see something that's more squarely focused on the fact that we know when Zelda's actually happening. One of the weird things that came from this news, though, was sort of I want to call this bad news. Let's just call it bad news. The only game that they're showing off at E3 is the new Zelda game.
Did they say that completely officially, formally, it is the only game?
Well, it's the only game that will be playable on the E3 show floor. So I don't know if you've ever seen Nintendo's booth at E3. It's massive. There might be some other stuff there, like a kiosk in the corner.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of that Pokemon Stadium 2 minigame where your goal is to put all of the eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
It's a big basket, right?
I took a chancey on that joke. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, no, okay.
Your humor is a Snorlax.
Oh, wow.
And it sucks.
I Magna might stop talking to you.
Stop it! So, anyway, Zelda is obviously huge, but it's one game. And I think that when you bought a Wii U, you probably expected a really kind of robust library of games, to an extent. At this point in time, if you went in there expecting a ton of third-party stuff, you probably walked away disappointed. There was a lot of third-party stuff at the launch of the Wii U, but that fizzled away. This system is basically dead. It's basically over. It's done. The final year of most Nintendo consoles is never super great. It's always peppered with like a couple of swan songs here and there, and then it's gone. But for the most part, the Wii U is sailing off into the sunset, and that's kind of sad because there was a lot of cool stuff on it. But that makes 2016 very weird for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And for Nintendo fans.
So the bright side of them basically being like, hey, so not much going on until 2017, not much being announced at E3, or not much being playable at E3.
Yeah.
The good news about that is that it's making people temper their expectations.
Yeah.
If they hadn't said anything, and Nintendo's E3 announcement was, hey, nothing coming out this holiday season, new Pokemon game, but yeah, like everyone would probably be like, what? But the fact that we're where we are now, I'm guessing this is probably like, they probably sat down in a room with someone and said, hey, is this thing ready this holiday season? And they said, no, it's not. And they said,
Right.
okay, thank you for letting us know. It's like, if you're going to be late, like, tell somebody you're going to be late and overestimate the amount of time you're going to be late.
Yeah.
If you say, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and you show up in 10 minutes, and then you're 5 minutes later than you said you were, Like, it's just,
Nintendo fans are in a weird spot because it's like if you're an Xbox owner or an Xbox guy, you have an Xbox One. You might have a PC also, but I doubt it because it's like they mostly play the same games. As an Xbox guy, you play all the exclusives. You get your Halos and your Sunset Overdrives. You also get your third-party support, which is very robust. On the PlayStation, same deal, right? If you're a Sony guy, a PlayStation guy, you get a couple of first-party games every few years or months sometimes. A lot of HD remakes and remasters and stuff. But you also get a ton of third-party stuff. Also, like, you might have a Vita, probably not historically, and also that system's kind of been going away. But as a Nintendo fan, you basically need to own a Wii U, a 3DS, and now a smartphone, because for 2016, two of their biggest franchises, Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, are both coming to smartphones this fall. There'll probably be like truncated versions of those games.
yeah.
You'll get like a mini-game version of Fire Emblem that's top-down RTS stuff, and you'll probably get Happy Home Designer ported.
I mean, like, I think it's great Nintendo's bringing stuff to smartphones, but like nobody unwraps a Nintendo smartphone game on Christmas morning,
No,
like, that's not.
no.
This is Nintendo. We grew up with Nintendo. Like, when we're negative about Nintendo, it's because we want them to do really well and to succeed.
Yeah.
And this is a bummer. Like,
Yeah,
this sucks.
this is just a weird transition year for Nintendo fans. We just got Star Fox and Wii U. We're also getting a Paper Mario game. There's a couple of like indie games coming. We're getting Pokemon for 3DS and a couple of other games here and there. And we're getting a couple smartphone games, but those are spread across 3 platforms in 1 full year. And then we can start ramping into...
There's a 4th platform.
And there's a 4th platform coming.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's a bummer.
weird time for Nintendo fans. Stick it through if you can.
Yeah.
Go play some classic stuff. If you want to get another system on the cheap, now's your chance to do
tell.
that. We won't tell. I won't say
Also,
a
like,
word.
I mean, the good thing is our expectations are lowered. They could come out at E3 and be like, hey, we've got 5 crazy, small, little, tiny games coming out on eShop over the course of the next
Yeah,
8
or
months,
available
whatever.
right now.
Yeah,
Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. A stupid thing that happened this week. We're in an age where we celebrate the dumbest things. We have May the 4th is coming up. That's the Star Wars Day because it sounds like May the 4th be with you. The famous line uttered by Jedi Master. And then, of course, there was a Back to the Future Day, which was the day that Marty travels to in 2015. It's gonna be weird when they do that. When they do that in next year, because that was Back to the Future 2 was set in 2015. Aliens decided to jump on this bandwagon too.
Right.
Aliens. This is more of a reach. LV-426 is the planet they go to in Aliens.
Yeah.
It's not really, I don't think it's named in Alien. I think they're just like, oh, it's some random planet that sucks. Let's go there. They decided that April 26th was the perfect day for that. So it was 4/26.
That's odd. Why don't they just decide based on
Aliens
like
Day.
Why don't they just pick like the day the first movie came out?
I don't know. Because it's harder to remember, maybe.
Same
But
with
anyway,
Star Wars, same with Back to the Future. It's very odd.
It is cool though because Aliens fans, which we both are, got a ton of cool news, and they kind of teased this ahead of time. But basically, they were like, "Hey, yeah, Tuesday, Aliens Day. It's gonna be awesome. Everyone, tons of new collectibles up for pre-order." Probably the best thing they had to show off are these Reebok Alien Stomper boots, which are a replica of the ones that Ripley wore in Aliens.
They look like horse boots.
Yeah, they're kind of ugly, but also sort of awesome.
I think they walked that line, not to use a pun there, but they walked that line perfectly between hideous and gorgeous.
Yeah, they also had a lower cut version, which was based on what Bishop wears.
Yep.
Now they had these up for pre-order, and they were like, yeah, they'll be available at 9 a.m. Unfortunately, from the sound of it, I think they sold out in 40 minutes, and a lot of people were just stuck in sort of a crappy loop on the website trying to order it.
Yep.
And of course, as you'd expect with something like this, they're now up on eBay for like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, or as sneakerheads describe that entire scenario, just a regular day.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is like that.
You know what? We collect a lot of dumb stuff, but I think what bums me out is that like I'm not. Like, sneakers are a thing that I will totally wear. Like, I would probably wear these if I snagged a copy. That said, I saw these announced, and I was like, I I turn to my fiance and I'm like, hey, if I get a pair of these for you, will you dress up like Ripley? And she's like, hell yeah. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm super down for that. Unfortunately, Reebok sort of missed a key thing, and they didn't make women's sizes for these shoes made famous by a female character. And I know we err on the side of being, SJWs, but like, look, I have a vested interest here. I wanted my fiance to dress up like Ellen Ripley so I could dress up like Hicks and we could kiss. Okay? Yeah. Is that weird? Maybe it is. I don't care.
Why do you find that strange? Who are you to judge of all people?
And now, of course, Yaya Han, who's a very, very respected cosplayer, jumped on there and was just griping about that. And it's like, this is stupid. This is like, how did somebody sign off on this? Where they're like, yeah, girls wouldn't buy these. I mean, I could see people even if you're not going to wear women's sizes, maybe buying a pair and putting them in like a cabinet next to a pulse rifle and being like, hey, here's my aliens closet.
Totally.
Like that's cool.
Or at least have the option. I mean, like if you don't understand this, it's basically like if they said we're making Arnold Schwarzenegger's jacket from Terminator 2, but it's only in women's sizes. A bunch of big burly man dudes who love to show up naked at a bar and steal some guy's sunglasses would be like, I want to wear those clothes. Well, you can't.
Yeah,
because you were born with a pangus.
I don't know. So this is like these sneakers. I was really excited for them. Like I feel like this is the coolest possible idea. They didn't screw it up. They didn't put like Alien 30th anniversary on it. They're just straight up replica sneakers, but they were not enough available, and they didn't make them for women's sizes. So it's like, and apparently the website was just a real train wreck. So like, it's the best idea with the worst possible execution.
So I feel like this is like a big part of growing up is getting to understand the way adult decisions get made and realizing that so many times they come so close to just nailing it and they just miss a beat at the very end. Like this was set up to be perfect. Had they printed more and had they made them in two sizes basically, for two genders and everything in between, they didn't. They just dropped the ball, and now you're sitting there going like, so who is this for? A bunch of guys bought these shoes, and they're going to hoard them, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if we get another wave of these, and they make them for females, and they make them for everybody, even for kids.
Females.
Like, women.
The female of the species.
The female.
Yeah. Anyway, so on the subject of alien clothing, we got something else real exciting.
You look like you're wearing alien clothing right now.
I actually am kind of doing a little bit of a sort of casual cosplay. I'm sort of dressing my outfit based on Brett from Alien, who's my favorite. Where's that trucker hat?
Not Vacation Travis Touchdown.
Shut up. I like that. I like his outfit.
All right, sorry.
All right. So anyway, Alien Covenant is coming out. This is depending on how you want to count it. It's either Alien 5 or Prometheus 2, or just something new entirely.
Or Alien 3.0.
Alien 3
reboot
squared
remix.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott is directing. That's cool. Prometheus, I'm not a fan of, but there's parts of it that are just drop dead gorgeous. But for the most part, it's kind of a dumb movie. This one is the fact that it's being called Alien Covenant. Kind of sounds good, and we got our first look at what it's going to look like, and it's just this image of a patch. So this reveals a couple important things. Covenant is the ship. That's the name of the ship. Weyland-Yutani ship, building better worlds. From the sound of it, maybe this takes place 10 years after Prometheus, and I'm guessing that maybe this is Weyland-Yutani trying to track down the crew of the ship from Prometheus. Like, could that be it? Does that seem?
Yeah.
If nothing else,
it sucks because every time you say the word Prometheus, my excitement for this movie goes down a little bit.
Yeah, but it's called Alien Covenant.
I know. Those are two really strong words.
So my understanding is, I mean, this is total rampant speculation, but I feel like Ridley Scott wanted to make a brand new movie. He wanted to make some weird kind of sci-fi movie, but the only way he'd get the budget is if he said, yeah, it's an Alien prequel, which is why it's called Prometheus.
Yeah.
I remember reading about this before it was even attached to Alien. People were like, maybe it's going to be to do with Alien.
Sure.
And I don't know, like, the fact that they're not calling this Prometheus 2, it's kind of acknowledging that on like a big kind of public sense, like they get that people like Alien better. So that's cool. That said, like I've been looking a lot at like the costume design and production design of the Alien movies, and they're just like the amount of detail Ridley Scott puts into like little things like just graphics, like having Sid Mead's set of like signage,
right?
Like the bathroom signs on the Stromo in the first one, they're like incredible. There's a ton of detail there. So just seeing like that kind of return to form for like, hey, here's this sort of retro futuristic, vaguely classical looking. It's got like heraldic motif. Like I like that. Ridley Scott's a graphic design nerd. This bodes well.
Yeah.
That said, I cannot get excited about this yet. I cannot. I am forcing myself not to be excited about it because I can't do another Prometheus.
Yeah, I'm vaguely worried about this as well. There's also that Neil Blomkamp rumored alien movie that he was like tweeting out sketches from. It was put on hold in October. Probably because the studio went with this one instead. I kind of wish like both of these movies were being made because then there's a 50-50 shot that we get a good aliens movie instead of a, whatever those other odds are. I didn't go to math school.
I mean, if nothing else, Neil Blomkamp would have some pretty cool ass weapons and monsters.
Yeah, and I actually really like the tendency he has towards leaning towards a more tangible set and costume design and production design. Just I think like even the weapons or some of the stuff that he showed very early on of like hybrid aliens and Ripley sort of with that face hugger as part of her face. It was all very interesting, and Prometheus was like had some cool sets and had a lot of cool art direction. I feel like there's like a beautiful art book behind Prometheus somewhere.
Totally, completely.
But the actual execution of the film was almost entirely CG, so a lot of it got lost.
Also, Prometheus was just a weird movie. Like, I feel like if it hadn't been trying to tie itself to Alien, I would have been down with it. It would have been like a beautiful, high-budget Ridley Scott modern sci-fi movie. A little bit corny, but like the fact that it's got Alien connections there, it just sort of makes it feel like, why?
Now, do we know if Sigourney Weaver's back for this thing? Like where does that
for Alien for the Blomkamp one?
Yeah.
No, she has nothing to do with Covenant.
Okay, nothing at all.
Danny McBride does though, so yeah, that's gonna be good.
Tired of these damn aliens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Danny McBride in a Ridley Scott Alien movie. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Like that sounds like fun for me.
I'm totally cool with that.
Nothing else. They got good graphic design and they got Danny McBride. So there we go.
Yeah, if you want to see Danny McBride running around fighting weird aliens, check out Land of the Lost, which is like a totally slept-on movie he did with Will Ferrell.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an actually decent comedy movie.
Weird.
It's like way high budget and by all means should be bursting at the seams with failure, but it works in some weird way. So yeah, go check that out.
All right. Next up.
Yeah.
I thought we should just check in.
Yeah.
How are you right now? How's the show going?
I'm good. The show's going
Do you
pretty
think
good.
the show's going okay?
I think it's all right. What do you think, Zach?
Zach, is the show
Can we
going
get a
okay?
thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Sorry, can you come
Thumbs
out
up.
further?
Yeah,
Show them your little hat.
Show them the
Look
gum that you've been chewing, that you just almost choked on.
Yeah, I bet the guys in the studio love that you're just like chewing gum into this headset.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop that.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
see?
Everyone's
They don't
mad
like
at
it.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, so we run a tight ship here. This is how we do the show.
Do we have a garbage? Can we lose the gum? What are we gonna do?
Check out this cool
I don't
Joker.
want it. Oh!
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh! That's horrible.
So, no.
Stop it.
You can't put the gum on the Goku. I want to show off my toy, but you can't.
You're an awful man.
Okay, so the gum's going to stay there for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that's gonna be in our. It's the camera's over. I'm not touching it, moving it over there. This one lucky giveaway winner will win this gum. Use the hashtag #UpAtNoon and head on over to Twitter and just get it out of here. Stop it. Now it's
that
on
up.
the floor. Now
Pick
someone's
that up,
gonna
yeah.
step on it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's a producer. He produces chewed up gum.
I thought the show was going pretty well until just now. I mean,
Okay.
It really fell apart.
Yeah, that's real bad. Okay,
We just got a question from somebody. He said, "What's your most embarrassing interaction with drug dealers?" Why would we answer that? Why would we do?
How do I know? I feel like I've probably had embarrassing interactions with people who could have been drug dealers, but I don't know.
Zach just dealt gum all over our set. How's that?
Is Zach a drug dealer? Because that was embarrassing.
Anyway, damn it! Is this show? Are we even doing this? What's going on?
Yeah.
We got some cool news this week from Tim Miller, who worked on Deadpool. I think it's like incredibly fascinating what happened with that movie because, again, by all means, like it shouldn't have worked.
Yep.
But it did.
Yep.
What's not Deadpool? Yeah, that's Spider-Man. That's cool. That's a good.
Was that
good
a joke,
guy.
or was that? Did you do that on purpose as a joke, or
That's good guy Deadpool.
was that an accident?
Hey, kids! I love Deadpool. How are you doing, teens?
I
Want
think
to go
Ninja
skateboard?
Spider-Man is one of the coolest Spider-Men.
We're undercover cops. So Tim Miller had this great quote about how they thought that Deadpool was going to make $50 million opening weekend. And the night before it came out, he was on the phone with like Fox executives being like, I hope we break even. I hope this works out. It ended up making $132 million opening weekend. It ended up being the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, the biggest February movie opening of all time. It's a hit. They fast-tracked the sequel. They're going to give it a little bit more money, which I'm a little worried about because I actually love the fact that Deadpool didn't have any money and they made jokes about that.
Yeah.
Money could ruin the sequel. I really doubt it though. I think it's going to be in good hands.
I hope it means just the most idiotic, shameless cameos.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's, if they're sticking true to Deadpool, they'll do something completely absurd, like have B. Arthur show up.
Yeah, so I want to read this quote because it's really cool. He said,
Die? Is she alive?
B. Arthur is still alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, yeah, they'll resurrect a dead actress. Like,
Yeah,
it'd be awful.
I was just on Arthur Watch this morning, and that keeps track of if she's alive or not. And she's she's doing
ArthurWatch.com.
Oh,
she died in
B. Arthur?
2009?
Yeah.
B. Arthur died in
All right,
2009.
so B. Arthur, yeah. So, yeah, we're off to a great start here. Good job. So
Hey,
they're probably
hey,
not gonna
teens.
I mean, maybe they get like hologram B. Arthur. I don't know.
Anyway, let's talk about Deadpool. Deadpool came out. It was a surprise hit. It shouldn't have been because it didn't have a big budget, and it's a weird kind of unknown comic book character. And Tim Miller, who directed the film, basically said, he got a phone call from people at Fox thinking they would only make $50 million. He said, I don't know what the F's going on here. I've never seen this before. I don't know what this number is. And I think it's due to the fans and social media and people going, holy shart, that didn't suck. Let me tell my friends about it, and they'll go and come out and say, holy shart, that really didn't suck.
Yeah.
Let me tell a few more friends. So word of mouth really made this film a hit. You and I saw it together on opening night. We brought our significant others with us.
I think I bought tickets for like 8 people.
Yeah.
Like I was like, hey, who wants to see Deadpool? We're doing this, and I just.
Which is like was pretty interesting because it's like we didn't really wait for reviews on that. We saw some word of mouth. The first screenings they did were basically for Deadpool fans. Same thing happened with Batman and Superman. So weird thing happened with this movie is that people liked it and they shared it and they told other people to like it and that they would like it. And that's a thing that happens a lot now is that people become influencers of something that they like because they get to say, somebody else made a cool thing. I'm going to give it to you, and that's going to show you that I am a curator of cool things. This didn't happen so much with Batman vs. Superman, and I don't want to keep dogging this movie, but on the if you look at it, tremendous opening weekend, huge drop off second and third weekends, and it's because people don't really want to be like, oh, this tastes gross, try it, or this is a very long slog of a film. Now, a lot of people love that movie, but if you did like that movie, you kind of failed by not telling everybody to go see this movie.
Yeah. Also saw a lot of people, even when they were recommending it, even if they liked it on social media, they'd be like, I don't care what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
I had fun. And it's like, oh, so you're saying, like, you're acknowledging your own unpopular opinion.
Right. You're dragging in a certain weight of doubt.
And I'm sure there's some marketing person out there who just their hair completely fell out at this because we have a security guard here at the building, and he posts on his Facebook
shout out to Jerry, the security guard.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, Jerry's cool.
Up at noon.
No, he was like he posted on Facebook. He was like I don't care. He's like I don't care what the critics said. I had fun. It was like that's good, but at the same time you're acknowledging that critically. So if someone had no concept whatsoever about what this is about, they're gonna be like, oh, so in spite of what critics said, it's good. And it's like as opposed to being like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. To go back to the food thing. I
don't care what anyone thinks. This is
To go back to the food thing, it's just like being like, I don't care about the Yelp reviews. This restaurant's delicious. It makes people go like, wait, what?
Yeah, and they go check out the Yelp reviews, and then
they check that out first, and then that might sway them. So I mean, if you really love something, share it more positively, I guess. It was tough to do with that movie because it was sort of inherently dark and morose. A lot of people think that the reviews ruined that movie, and I don't think it did because reviews should ruin a lot of movies. A lot of movies get really bad reviews and then go on to be blockbusters because I think they're just not inherently more positive experiences, but the people who share them were more inclined to be like, I had fun. Go check this out. Go watch Minions. Minions is a statistically terrible film. You and I watched it together recently.
Keep talking about it.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
It's all right.
But I think a lot of people were just sort of like, it's fun. Bring your kids, have a good time.
Yeah.
So word of mouth saved Deadpool. Or helped Deadpool. I think it was going to do well no matter what. And I think it hurt Batman vs. Superman. So my theory is that word of mouth plays a really big part in movies nowadays. Social media especially can make or break something more than critical perception can.
Oh, totally. No, I mean, the social media thing is huge. Whenever there's a hashtag that they associate with some movie, they always want people to use that because they're like, this is going to be this is how we track all the feedback and the buzz of the buzz feed.
Yep.
But when people are just straight up not even hashtagging, just being like, yo, just saw Deadpool, it was awesome. Whereas it's just saw hashtag Deadpool starring hashtag Van City Reynolds and, TJ Miller and just tagging everybody, it's whatever, I don't know. But when you're just like, hey, this is cool, go see it,
Yeah,
anyway.
I totally agree.
So the moral of the story is, if you like something and you enjoy it,
tell people.
You should share it.
Yeah, tell people and tell them why, Don't tell them why they shouldn't and then why they should.
Share our show.
Yeah, share our show. Tell your friends.
Please.
Yeah, Max, another big part of sharing that happens all the time is parties. But parties don't always go well because sometimes everyone dies. And that's what happened this week on our Up at Noon Challenge. Party Hard, a video game we played where you try to sneak into a house and murder people. Let's check it out.
Party Bros! What's up, everybody? I'm Brian. This is Max, and we're playing Party Hard.
I like to party.
Yeah, Party Hard is a game about going to a party and trying to stealth kill everybody because parties are loud and obnoxious. And how dare they have that without inviting us over to party with them?
Yeah, that's very rude of people to have a party without telling us about
Yeah.
it.
So there's a whole lot going on in this house. There's a dude throwing up in the toilet and sleeping. There's a dude who fell asleep by the ice machine. This is like Where's Waldo for parties. There's a guy yakking in a garbage can out in the front. Big fan of all this. There's a bonfire with a bunch of hobos and weird 80s drifters. I think that's a dead lady.
So I have to kill all these people.
All right,
This
so
is,
we
this
see
is
your
like a-
man on the far left, Edward Scissorhands.
I'm the one up by the bush here. This is kind of probably a little bit difficult. We are seriously also just learned how to play entirely. How do I break it? What happens if I do that? Oh, nice. I'm setting booby traps.
That's pretty cool.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cops come back.
Cops are here. It's the worst enemy of a party. They're coming right for you, dude.
Can I flush a body down the toilet?
Maybe put it in the bathtub. Did you kill that thing?
I guess the cops left.
Wow.
So they're like,
Cops have no idea what to do with a party of this magnitude.
I'm hiding the
This
body.
is not a very realistic party because nobody is doing any funny stuff in the master bedroom. Oh, that clown's going in there. Maybe he will do exactly that.
Huh.
Yeah, he is. That clown just got into bed. I called it. Literally funny stuff in the master bedroom.
Oh, he's doing funny clown stuff.
Yeah, he's moving his hands under there real hard.
What a nasty boy. All right, so,
I think he got one out.
all right, I got this guy. He's dead now.
Okay.
Cool. I kind of like this. This is fun.
So there's a lot of dumpsters and stuff you can put bodies in to trash them. Now you're just walking around and nobody really has a problem with that, right? Oh, there's a half-naked lady here.
Where? Oh,
Just
wow.
came in looking for a phone.
Hey, that's Lilu from the Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, wow.
Hey, I'm gonna go kill myself.
This dude is throwing up like crazy. Oh, this guy saw you. You better stab him. Perfect. Perfect. Cops are coming. They're gonna find that body. Close the door. Oh!
What?
Damn.
I got arrested.
Party
Wait, he
foul.
took me away. This party sucks. No, this is kind of insane. I think we got busted.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
You want to give it one more go?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. See
See how well we can do. How many people can we murder in this party house as fast as possible before the cops show up? Well, there's some interesting characters this time around.
Oh, wow. Are they beating me up?
Oh,
What the
cop
hell?
drove over everybody.
Okay. This is getting
Wow.
interesting. This kind of
Okay,
reminds me of
one more round, one
this,
more
This
round.
kind of reminds me of GTA 2.
Yeah, this is really cool. You can read the paper. That's odd. Who would want
It
to
tells
read
you
the paper
that
at a
cops
party?
will come back stronger. Is that like a Weekend at Bernie's gag there? Oh man, that guy's dead. So do I oh, can I poison the beers? Oh yeah.
Wow, you poisoned the beers. You're an awful man.
Huh. These people are just asleep. Oh, is that I can just burn the whole house down, I think. This game is irresponsible. Start a fire.
I like the very Run DMC music they got going on here. Oh my god, you burned down the master bedroom.
Man,
and
I'm not
killed
good at
yourself.
this. The fire truck shows up though.
Yeah.
All right, okay, one more time.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Last chance to party.
This is like kind of Hitman, but Hotline Miami Hitman.
I'm down with this game. This is very cool.
I'm feeling it. Oh. Huh.
Kill the guy on the couch.
Oh, they saw me.
You stab that guy into his computer. Oh, you better hide. You better lay low. There's a bunch of people in this room, dude. They're going to find you. Kill him. Kill him before he calls the police. Oh, the
Burn
house
the
is
house
down.
down.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Burn
Oh,
it
man.
down,
Cops
the
are
house.
coming. Cops are coming. Plus the ambulance and the fire truck. This is getting real bad. They get you? They got you. I'm a criminal crimester, but the party has not been stopped. It's for bad.
That's right.
Man, so Party Hard. This is out on PSN right now. I think you can get it on PC too. Yeah, that's it. I probably could use more practice.
You'll get there.
Yeah,
But you're already good at partying.
I'm pretty
You just
good at
don't know how to
partying.
ruin the party.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm too much fun.
Yeah, I guess you're just too much fun. Thanks for watching. And remember, party hard. Unless the cops are there.
So we throw the water balloon at her. It's full of the fruit punch. And she
Fruit
gets
punch in the water balloon?
Yeah, it's a really messed up way to ruin a water party.
Put like a funnel in there?
Yeah,
and
you just fill with. It was like from the cafeteria. You know, there's like those little faucet things, and you fill it.
Yeah,
So I threw it at her. They're just covered in ants.
Oh, wait, so it hit her and then ants started attacking
Yeah,
her?
they were really fast ants.
Wow, like Sky?
Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Oh, we were just talking about different juice accidents that may
Yeah.
have occurred.
Yeah,
Never.
rest in peace, Karen Pembleton. You died from ants.
I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Kevin Costanzo, I think. It's your
Kevin
birthday.
Costanzo,
according
happy
to
birthday.
according to someone impersonating you on Facebook, it is your birthday, so happy birthday.
Here's the
normally-
big babby birthday robot. Happy birthday, Kevin Costanza. You are
Stop.
great. You are a good boy. Open up all the presents under your bed.
Stop it. Awful. Just real awful.
Do a big kiss on your neck.
So we got a cool piece of news just right now.
Yeah, that's the joy of doing a live
We're
show.
going to do something that my producer hates. We're going to go to a different video game website.
That's right. Shout out to Nick Robinson
Yeah.
over at Polygon doing amazing things. What?
Yeah.
Deal with it.
What? It's sorry, our friend
cares?
has found a cool thing. Apparently, Sega Genesis has authorized ROM hacks on the Steam Workshop. If you're unfamiliar, ROMs are rips of old school games that we all grew up playing, though we're not supposed to acknowledge that because it's one of those things like, is this piracy? I don't know. It's sort of kind of piracy.
Yeah.
In this case, though, I guess it looks like you can get real weird modded versions of Sega games legitimately.
Yeah, they've legalized ROM hacks, and if I used to play a ROM hack. It was called Super Wheelchair Brothers, and it was just Super Mario Brothers, but he was in a really fast wheelchair.
I played Nude Punch Out, which was funny because they were all naked, and when you punch them, some real dirty stuff would happen sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
like
nasty.
like a snake flapping.
Yeah, they're
around?
all flapping around. Sometimes they'd pee, I think, but it was
Like that?
Yeah, Nude Punch Out was weird. And then, of course, there was a Mario ROM hack I played where Optimus Prime, or it was Transformers, so when you got the mushroom, you turn from a truck into a robot, man.
Yeah.
This one looks awesome. This is a mod called Streets of Rage 2, except it makes that weird Tim Allen noise when people die. So that I kind of want. I think we might have to play that.
I hate that
next
noise.
week. That's pretty good though. So yeah, there's a hot breaking news to prove that this is a live television program.
That's right.
We got a cool piece of information a while ago, and that is the news that they're making a whole brand new Ghostbusters movie. Unfortunately, that information turned out to be bad because it's full of girls. There is good news coming out of this, though. Ecto-Cooler
Also, it didn't look
is
very
coming
funny.
back. Fine, okay.
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah, I
yeah.
know, yeah. High-C Ecto-Cooler, if
Yeah.
you're unfamiliar or under the age of 30, it's a juice that's scary because a ghost made it.
Yeah, it's ghost water.
It's an orange juice, but it's full of ghost stuff.
ghost water.
Yeah, so I remember this growing up a lot. It was weird. Like, Ghostbusters came out, what, 84?
Yeah.
And then Ghostbusters 2 was 1990.
Yeah, but the animated
they-
series was going on, and the toys were going on, so Ecto-Cooler was pretty much always there.
Yeah,
Is that dude trying to lick our logo?
that's kind of weird. Anyway, Ecto-Cooler, I remember that being in stores like way after Ghostbusters was off the
Right.
air. Like,
Right.
High-C held on to that. They were like, people like this. And when they discontinued it, it was sort of like, Ghostbusters had kind of gone. Like, it was not really, I mean, people loved it, but it wasn't sticking around.
I mean, what child doesn't love to drink green ghost water at his desk at school?
I mean, I just miss the days of like just like a food being colored wrong because that was what kids like to eat. You know, they'd be like, "Do you remember that purple ketchup?"
yeah.
And then it was like Heinz Doodlers, and it was like, what's wrong with
we
you?
had that in our fridge for like 3 years because no one wanted to eat it, but nobody also didn't want to throw it out.
Dude,
It
we
was weird.
regularly would get the green ketchup
And use it?
all the time. It was fine.
It's so gross. But
I liked it okay, yeah.
Looks like it's a sick thing.
Looks like you're just colorblind. So yeah, good news. Ecto-Cooler is coming back. It is coming back this summer.
Do you remember what this tastes like?
It just tastes like it tastes like Tang, right?
Well, it was like they put oranges on the box, but it didn't taste like oranges. Did I ever tell you about Sips? Sips Awesome Orange.
What?
Okay, there's this company named Sips with
Oh,
two
this.
S's. It's like a snake.
If you're under the age of 21, please stop watching.
No, please tell
All right,
your
carry
friends. And they issued this recall that Sips Awesome Orange was like full of poison. So all these kids at my school had to go to the nurse and try to throw up in the sink because they were all drinking Sips Awesome Orange.
Oh no.
We got this thing they got on the loudspeaker over the whole school, and the lady was like, "Hey everybody, Please take a look inside your lunchboxes right now. If you have sips, she said it with 2 S's. If you have sips awesome orange, me and my friends were sitting there like, yeah, we want a contest. Awesome, this is gonna be great. You might be poisoned. And we're like, that's not a contest. So please throw away your Sips Awesome Oranges. Also, if you've already had Sips Awesome Orange, you should have waited for lunch because that's when it's okay to drink that kind of stuff. Just don't do crazy Sips Awesome Orange in the middle of math class. But please throw it out and come back to the nurse's office. We need you to try to yak in this sink.
You know what I remember? I liked Squeeze-Its a lot. You remember Squeeze-Its?
Oh yeah, Squeeze-Its.
Squeeze-Its were the jam because
That's
they were
like Mondo's less worldly cousin.
Yep. Mondo's was like, they tried to be cool because they were all like worldly and they're like, yeah,
they're like, from Jamaica to Africa to France. Drink Mondo.
Yeah.
Juice tubes.
Yeah. But Squeeze-Its were like, what if juices were cartoon men and you could take the bottle and go out to the water fountain during recess and squirt people with it? It was like bringing a squirt gun to school.
Do you remember awesome. Kool-Aid squirts?
Was that the same thing?
Yeah, it was like the same thing as.
Yeah, but they didn't have personalities like those Squeeze-Its did. Those Squeeze-Its were the jam. They were great.
They had a lot of personality because if you want to drink it, you could just take it and rip off the top and squeeze it and be like, psst, and pee all over the schoolyard.
All right.
And then ants would attack everything.
There was a line of Squeeze-Its I never got where it came with like a bunch of tablets, and you drop one in, it would change colors, and I never got to try it, and I never will because they discontinued it. So hopefully they make a Squeeze-It cinematic universe and someday bring that back.
I really love juice.
Yeah, so Ecto-Cooler's coming back, and we have brain damage from drinking too many orange-flavored snake juices over the course of the 1990s.
Speaking of brain damage, we got a tweet from Michel Waldelay, and he says, "This isn't Overwatch."
Yeah.
Nope.
That's true.
You got it.
I had the weirdest thing. I
want to bring you everywhere, and you can point at things that aren't video games and explain that they're not.
So speaking of weird juicy...
That's not Super Mario 64.
Speaking of weird juicy tie-ins, I was in my home this morning.
Yep.
And I looked inside my own recycle. I don't know why. There's no way to say it. I looked in my recycle bin, and there was a large plastic cup that had an Overwatch character on it. I was like, what? What's going on? I picked it up. Taco Bell's doing an Overwatch tie-in, which I totally wasn't aware of because I don't go to Taco Bell a lot. Apparently, someone in my home does. Someone is drinking Taco Bell juices in my house. That's super weird to me. I feel like
that you don't know who was doing that, or that they're advertising with them.
No, it's probably Alana. But like, I don't know who was like. I don't know who's drinking. Who's like. That just seems odd to me. Like I remember like Uncharted did like a Subway tie-in.
Yeah.
And I mean you get like the occasional like, here it's a video game that's coming out soon, but like I feel like Overwatch is, maybe I'm just crazy, but it seems sort of niche. You know? Like I mean I guess it's coming to consoles. So
no, they're gonna put some money behind it because they kind of need to. I don't think a lot of people are really like totally on board with it yet. That it's going kind of head to head with Battleborn in terms of
I guess my thought process there is that like. Obviously, there is a massive audience for PC gaming, but PC gaming has never been like forefront of like you have Halo Mountain Dew, Call of Duty Mountain Dew, but there's something that's kind of like you can't go to Walmart and buy PC games, or if you can, I don't know where to find them, but I guess I haven't tried that in a while. But like console games, they're much more commercial, So
man, I really miss those Uncharted Subway commercials. Those are great. I love that one where Nathan Drake climbs to the top of that mountain and him and Sully split that huge sandwich. And it's got all those meatballs. They're falling.
I was afraid you were going someplace much darker with an Uncharted Subway tie-in.
No, I'm not doing
what? We're talking about some stuff. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about the stuff we're actually supposed to talk about. I'm sorry, our producer's making that face. There's not even an emoji for that.
Get back to talking about toys.
Yeah. Sorry, Zach. We get back to the pressing matters. Okay, here's a real pressing matter. Somebody made a Lego Voltron. Let's look at this. On my computer, thank you. Okay. Get rid of that lower third so you can read this man's username. Please, thank you. Okay, so anyway, there's that website, Lego Ideas, which is basically Kickstarter for Lego sets, but you don't have to pay any money. You just say, yes, I want to buy this. This dude, Len D69.
He's underscored D69.
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 So this is apparently a functional Voltron, which, if you're unfamiliar, is a robot that is made out of 5 cats that have glued themselves together.
What do you mean functional? You can't throw that word around like it's nothing.
I mean, like the cats actually stick together, which is
okay,
always.
But they don't turn into animal ships and go to space.
Did the cats did that, right? They do that weird squatting thing, and they'd like.
And they go into the
See, I want a Voltron reboot where the cats actually act like cats.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, where's our leg? And they look over and it's like messing up a castle. It's just like scratching on it, like.
Well, Voltron's kind of proof that like that metaphor of like being like it's like herding cats isn't always true. Because they would just be like Voltron, and all the 5 cats would get together. But in real life, if they were real life
Remember that episode of Voltron where like the arm starts punching itself in the leg? And it's like, just
or when the head starts licking its own balls.
which are in its leg too.
I like that part in Voltron when all 5 cats got together and did a dunk in a big sandbox and then buried it.
What does Voltron's cat box look like? Is that like Optimus Prime's trailer?
Let us know using the hashtag #UpAtNoon.
All right, so anyway.
Serious journalism.
If you would buy a Lego Voltron, go to this guy's thing on Lego Ideas.
I would
'cause
totally
it
do
looks
that.
really cool. I looked it up, and the thing that's really curious about this is where the rights fall, because this is where we got Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Doctor Who, Minecraft, Legos. All these came from the same site, and it's kind of like just gauging interest from the general public and the adult Lego collector community. But Voltron, I think like they're doing a DreamWorks show on Netflix now, and I don't know if DreamWorks has ever partnered with Lego, but like maybe there's some weird possibility. Maybe who knows? So you know, I'd be super into that. I'd be really cool. I would totally get down with this Voltron. It's a good cat.
But in the meantime, there's a really awesome Lego that somebody built right now that's real and not CG.
So let's take a look at this thing right here. If you can see it, is a Lego Star Destroyer. This is an official set that exists out there. That set, it is huge. It's a real big one. It's like, I think it's like probably $200. I don't know. Those things are always kind of all over the place money-wise. But somebody decided that was not the right scale at all, because as you can see, it's very small. The Xenomorph is sitting on top of it because it's such a small spaceship.
Yeah, just like the hit movie Alien.
In the film Alien, he hides in the spaceship. In this case, he's just like, screw it, I'll ride the peg. So this dude on Reddit named Raskolnikov, he made the most incredible Star Destroyer I could imagine. So this is down in the corner there. That's the thing we've got on the desk, which
the one we just showed you.
That's about 18 inches long, I would say.
Wow!
And that thing, so that's like a good 5 feet long, probably. Let's take a look at the details because I can't not let this go. So the back.
My God!
It's one thing if you made something big. It's another thing to make something just big and detailed. Like, what? You're laughing? Are you? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I made a little. Whenever I'm talking about Legos, I always want to make that joke about doing stuff with bricks coming out of your butt.
It says seat.
Yeah, you'll scent bricks. So anyway, so this is cool because it's like if this just looked cool, that would be impressive. It gets so much better.
It really works.
You can open up. Yeah, shut up.
It goes to space.
Shut up. You can open up the bridge, and there's like, as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in there. The whole thing comes off, and you've got this like conference room.
Yeah, General Tarkin's kissing
You look
corner.
inside there, and he's got his own little Sith Lord.
Oh my God!
And he's got a hologram Sith meditation chamber, and those doors actually open. And look at just the amount of. He's got like blasters on the wall. Those are binocular pieces. Just all these random pipes and stuff are all entirely there.
Yeah, there's those guys in the corner around that dinner table.
And he's got a hallway. Look at this. It's bonkers.
This is nuts. He has
and it keeps
a hand.
going. And there's where the dude's going. He's going to meet his friends at work, and there's all these guys hanging out. They've got like all their helmets and stuff hanging up. And then he's got. I had to cut some of these. There's Darth Vader. There's Jeff Vader in the lunchroom. He's complaining about the wet trays. That's from a goofy old meme. But
this is so cool.
Yeah. And then it gets even crazier. He custom built TIE interceptors that fit inside this ship.
What?
As well as a Lego dropship, which I looked up. I don't think they make this. I feel like maybe I'm imagining it, but that's like the ship from the special edition. That was actually like a really cool edition.
Yeah.
The dudes fit in there, made this whole thing.
Oh my God.
And then these dudes, he like designed these ones from the ground up, just so they would work, and they actually fit little guys inside them.
Yeah.
And they go like he's got a captured rebel ship in the docking bay, like the tractor beam to suck this guy in. So like, holy crap, man! Like,
this is so cool.
If they released this thing in the real world, it would cost.
Yeah, I was gonna say
thousands of dollars.
You think so?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily, because like I don't even know how many pieces that would be, but like.
Well, this is about what, 2 feet, and that thing is what, like 3 or 4 times the size of that.
Yeah,
so,
but it's just the sheer density too. Like the amount of pieces he's got there, that would probably be like at least a $5,000 Lego set.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So yeah, shout out to Raskolnikov. I think if you're on Imgur, he's Doom Handle. But look at the full gallery. There's like 35 images. They're incredible. I just wanted to direct everyone's attention to that because fantastic, wonderful, beautiful.
Yep,
I like it. All right,
I like it too. Let's get that. I want. Can you send us that?
Please. May we have it?
I don't know what it costs. What it costs to mail that thing.
Yeah,
a ton of money.
It'd be really weird.
Yeah, guys. If you work at the post office, tell us what it's like to mail a big ship. Anyway, thanks for watching the show.
We're getting cool. We get comments from the fine folks on that.
We're in very stupid moods today. Cal Michium says, I remember Squeeze It tasting mostly like different flavors of plastic. That's true. It was sort of like a legalized, bigger version of those. Have you ever had those wax bottles that have juice inside?
Nickel Nip?
Is that what they were?
Yeah, they're called Nickel Nip, and you can take the wax and chew it up afterwards, and it's like
Dude, our parents' generation had some truly insufferable candies. Like they had some
I love those
weird
things.
stuff.
I like those things because they're like those little boba cheeses where you get the wax comes off.
And you can make a
You can make
toy.
like, yeah, I made a. You can make something red or something yellow.
And it's got that crazy cow on the front. He's like, they took my milk and they put it inside of a toy.
Yeah, and they come in like a weird net, like when the Ewoks captured them.
Yep.
What?
Why is he what?
Why is it a boy cow?
I don't know.
I don't know why it's a boy cow. Boy cows don't make milk, Brian.
Yeah.
That's something,
Really?
That's something very different. You should watch the film Kingpin. They explain it very.
Boy cows don't
graphically.
make milk?
Nope, that's a different liquid.
Get
so
it
anyway,
together, boy cows.
No, there's no such thing as boy cow milk. It's a different product. They don't sell
I
it
got
at
some
grocery
boy
stores.
cow milk.
Please stop.
Right.
Please stop before they cancel the show. I don't know what we're doing. This is episode 38.
Yeah, we're almost
Yeah.
40.
38 episodes.
Like your mom. Yeah.
You know how old my mom is, right?
Like, I don't know.
69.
Ah, yeah.
All right.
You know how she got that number, right?
Because she
Got old.
Yeah.
She didn't earn it by doing work.
All right. That's kind of how age works. You literally don't have to do anything. You just sit there and you just eventually, just all you have to do is continue not dying.
Head on down to the farm and get some boy cow's milk.
Stop. Please stop. Please stop what you're saying to me.
What about giraffes? Do they have milk? Let us know. Use the hashtag up at noon.
So as of like 4 o'clock yesterday, we basically didn't have a show ready to go. So I went on Twitter and I said, "What do you guys?
We're doing good.
What should we talk about in Up and News show?" And someone was like, "I think that says Saturday morning cartoons," and I said, "Saturday morning cartoons? I want to talk about after school cartoons."
Yeah.
So let's talk about. We grew up in the 80s and 90s. Actually, we never grew up. That's a lie. Look at this stupid mess.
I love that theme song.
That's a good show. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the golden age. Like early '90s was the golden age of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
I feel like, and after school cartoons was, I think that was kind of really more of a late '80s thing. You know?
Yeah,
It
late
kinda
80s
was-
and mid 90s.
Yeah.
Disney Afternoon was when things really started picking up for after school.
Okay, yeah. So okay, maybe not, I'm crazy. So I grew up with the golden age of
Yeah, I
after
think
school
so.
stuff,
Well,
yeah.
so there was always like I used to watch Thundercats like back in the 80s after school. But there wasn't really like a designated cartoon block. It was sort of just like the sheer luck of turning on the TV and hoping a couple of shows were doing it here and there. But Disney Afternoon was like totally solidified
that was
after school cartoons.
DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and
Gummy Bears.
Gummy Bears
For a little while.
Okay, and then they had Goof Troop.
Yes, yeah.
Goof Troop was added in like '91.
Yeah, so it was sort of like TGIF, where it started with 4 shows and then moved to a couple others. I forget where. Eventually, there was Animaniacs was getting folded into.
So that was when the WB launched.
Right.
And the WB was like a new network. And now it's the CW, so we feel
Yeah.
old. But like I remember WB Kids was the thing. And they had like Animaniacs and Freakazoid and Road Rovers, which was like a weird modern day Thundercats about dogs.
Oh, did we forget Gargoyles back in the Disney Afternoon?
Gargoyles was
Yeah.
later Disney Afternoon.
Yeah, yeah.
They rebooted DuckTales and they also had Mighty Ducks in there too.
Now, WB Kids Afternoon was also Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
Which was
So that
like...
was, no. That was before. That was Fox Kids initially.
That's right, that's right.
Initially, which is weird because now it's like WB is so very obviously attached to Batman. But
Yeah.
yeah. Man, that was the best. That was awesome. So after school cartoons were cool. Weird thing about cartoons, if you look at how they're made, it is very rare for a children's cartoon to go more than like 5 seasons.
Right.
It's super uncommon because the thing is that kids grow up. You know, the stuff that you're into when you're 5 is very different from what you're into when you're 10. So they have a shelf life there. But like Batman the Animated Series, I think that went for like 4 or 5 seasons. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. What's even weirder is back in the 80s, there was a lot of money. There was a lot of money going around, and the whole like action figure tie-in, toy lineup thing was that was a great thing.
There was
And,
also a lot of very cheap and outsourced foreign animation
Yep,
that was being
there's that.
folded into American subculture and being VO dubbed with like really weird voices and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where like you see a lot of Thundercats stuff was just sort of like, what am I looking at here? Early Voltron stuff obviously as well. Like,
Well,
as we
you
talked about earlier.
look at like He-Man. He-Man had just the worst budget. That was
Totally.
like super low budget. That was like just a gritty Hanna-Barbera cartoon,
Yeah.
pretty much. Thundercats is surprisingly well animated. It still holds up decently. It just looks like 80s anime. But
So I guess the great debate here, which we're getting to, is that now there was after-school cartoons, which was awesome because
Yeah.
you had an insufferable day spent as a child being forced to do things like go to school and learn.
yeah, they send you
about-
home with homework. They're like, draw a pumpkin. Halloween's coming up. You're like, I don't want to do my homework.
Yeah.
I want to watch a cartoon show.
And the great thing about that is that it was a few hours before dinner, and you were allowed to just like load up on sugar, and you could come home and just eat a whole big box of Gushers or String Thing or have a bunch of
Were you
squirts.
like neglected as a child?
Like a latchkey kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so like I was the oldest brother and both my parents worked, so I would come home and kind of have the house to myself for a few hours, and we turn on the TV and I'd like make microwave popcorn and bust out a whole bunch of Dunkaroos and Kit Kats and all this other trash and sit in front of the TV and just inhale stupidity. And it was so good. But Saturday mornings, totally different scenario because you would wake up, you would have a blank canvas of a day. Hopefully it was gross outside and you didn't want to go out and play.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't, you could justify spending, I think it was like 8 a.m. till noon.
Yep. It was awesome.
It was so cool.
It was so great. And I remember like the really cool stuff was on super early, but like I mean, I had my whole lineup. Like I'd get up and I'd be like, all right, I got my half my day planned out. I've got all this stuff taken care of. And like, I don't know, my mom would go outside and garden or like go grocery shopping or something. And I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna watch Ninja Turtles. I'm gonna watch Power Rangers. I'm gonna watch like X-Men and Spider-Man and The Tick and Life with Louie, even though I hated it. Bobby's World, even though I hated it even more. And like, then it would get to like noon and they'd be like, now it's time for Xena. Or like Ninja Warrior game show. And you're like, what?
Actually,
I guess I'll go outside. Screw it. You know?
It was very odd. It would go from like Saturday morning cartoons into sometimes like WCW Pro Wrestling and then American Gladiator. Or it would be like, hey, are the kids gone? All right, here's time for some teen comedies. Here's California Dreams reruns. And you're like, wait, what? Or when you stuck around after school, the same thing would happen where the cartoons would start going away and then the news would start popping up.
I mean, the afternoon programming was great because it was like, and this is also like, we're talking like network TV. We're not talking like Cartoon Network and stuff.
Right.
Because that was like, Toonami was a game changer. Just it was like, I'm gonna watch a channel, it's just for kids.
Yeah, this was before
Stone college kids,
dedicated cartoon channels. Way before that, where
so like,
and just to point out, this has been going on for ages. William Hulbert, who watches the show every week, he says we had Saturday morning cartoons and after-school cartoons in the 50s, mainly Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, etc. Which is really awesome. Like he was watching like the Jetsons and stuff like that, which
That's
great
so cool.
shows.
But yeah, like I remember like coming home and it was great because it was like, oh, cartoons, it's time for kids stuff, and then it would be sort of like, hey, it's a little bit later, it's time for some sitcoms. And then it would be like, now it's the news. And then it would be like, America's Most Wanted. And you're like, I had this babysitter named Tellis, who was a Green Beret Vietnam vet. And we used to watch this show about criminals all the time. I'd just sit there eating like wheat thins, and I'd be like, I don't know what any of this is, but it's very scary. Very scary.
There was a very
weird
weird thing being a kid and watching cartoons because the more you watch them and the more you stuck around, the TV would naturally evolve into something more adult. Same thing happened on Nickelodeon's watching stuff like Snick growing up, or pretty much anything. At a certain point, black and white programming would come on and they played Mr. Ed and all this other weird stuff.
Dude, yeah, Nick at Night, I remember I hated that because that was like...
It signified you going to bed.
Yeah.
And it also signified the end of fun for the evening.
That's when you switch it to MTV and watch like Cartoon Sushi or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's weird because the moment you know you're old is when you realize that Nick at Night is showing stuff from your childhood. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and it all becomes very throwback. It's very strange. So cartoons were awesome. Now, like we don't really have that anymore. Cartoons, there's more than ever now. But there's stuff like Crunchyroll. There's stuff like Netflix. There's Netflix for kids. There's Amazon Prime has original cartoon programming. There's Cartoon Network and all these other cartoon channels. It's not really as appointment based as it used to be. You can pretty much find it whenever.
I miss it though.
Yeah.
I miss that like, oh man, I have to adhere to someone else's schedule. But I don't know. I guess I work at a cool job now, so that's.
I think if I ever have kids, I'm gonna wake up on a Saturday morning and be like, here's a bunch of cartoons and a bunch of cereal. Enjoy. And after school, I'm gonna be like, here's a bunch of cartoons and a bunch of snacks. Enjoy.
You have some chubby little kids there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a bunch of little fat boys. If I don't steal those little Dunkaroos myself, you little goblins. Watch out, Daddy's home and he's hungry.
He's been talking about Dunkaroos all week. It's been great.
Well, because okay, hold on. Can we talk about this real quick?
No,
real quick.
No, we gotta wrap up. We gotta talk about something very important. One very last thing. But
Prince passed away last week. Before we get into this next story, and a site did a story on what Prince had in his fridge, not right when he died, but throughout his life. And one thing they found regularly in Prince's fridge was 5 pounds of Dunkaroos. Prince loved Dunkaroos. So if you love Prince, eat Dunkaroos.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to say, screw it. Okay. One of our fine viewers, Chris Moore, wrote in with something very special, which ties in well to our regular segment. Avatalk.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's why we bumped my thing. What is that?
You didn't use the Avatalk logo I made?
What are those photos of those awful people?
Is that from a porn parody? Probably.
That's totally from a porn parody.
Yeah, okay. Is that from a porn parody? Okay, anyway.
Really?
Our producer's is shrugging and grinning.
Okay, I'm down with this all of a sudden.
So in case you missed it, there is in fact an Avatar Cirque du Soleil, and it's awful. It's really just awful. I think we have some footage of it if we could roll this right now. I want to read a little bit about this. Our viewer, Chris Moore, went and saw it, and he wrote a book report upon my request. So Chris, thank you so much for doing this. I want to read a few excerpts from this. He says, "Come with me, audience, and I shall tell you a tale. And that is how the experience starts for Throwback, the First Flight, a Cirque du Soleil performance that brings the worlds of James Cameron's Avatar to the stage.
Does he know there's already an Avatar musical? It's called Cats.
Yeah, pretty much. One instance I really enjoyed was how the crew brought to life the Viper Wolves. Those, of course, are those awful weasel things that try to kill Jake Sully.
Yeah, that animal you don't remember from that terrible film.
It was obvious that these were created by some balloon-like material, but the presentation of it kept me engrossed in the story. Rather than just have people in black shirts operating them, they were in full Na'vi garb, but were spray-painted completely black, which sounds sexy, but also kind of racist. I'm editorializing there. One thing that's really fascinating is apparently there is a second screen app. To keep the audience engaged, the performance Throwback, the First Flight also had a companion app for your smartphone where you hold it up to add to the performance on stage while the Na'vi are sleeping in the forest in their weird little hammock things. Audience members held up their phones that have Viper Wolf's eyes on them on the screen to illustrate that the forest is watching the three heroes even as they slept. Chris summarizes by saying, Throwback, the First Flight was indeed a worthwhile experience and is a performance that was fun for the whole family. If you've been missing James Cameron's Avatar, TM, then this is the show for you. I really want to check this out. This sounds super weird.
This sounds awful.
Can we show more clips of this awful thing?
No, can we never show footage of it again?
It's super weird. They got weird animals. Also,
can we show that picture of that pig that poops on his own body?
I don't know if we're allowed to show that.
Okay, because that's better than this.
Look at these crazy people flipping around doing weird dances. You could buy the soundtrack. Look at how trashy that is.
This is awful.
Look at these clam people.
I hope this tree burns down like it does in that film.
Man.
This is so bad.
This looks amazing.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is actually successfully combining two of my least favorite things in the
Oh my
entire
God, it
world.
looks so good.
Avatar and Cirque du Soleil. I had to see Cirque du Soleil live with an ex-girlfriend and her family a month before we broke up. And that was probably one of the worst experiences of my life. And had they been playing all the hit songs that no one remembers from James Cameron's Avatar?
It's actually a new soundtrack. I really want to see Avatar, Throwback, the First Flight, a James Cameron Cirque du Soleil adventure.
Honestly, Avatar, the pig painted blue who poops on his own back.
I kind of want to Photoshop this after that. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a lot of fun doing this if that wasn't readily apparent. I hope you guys like to hang out and do this with us too.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm sorry. And I doff my cap to you, good sirs. IGN Plays Live will be back next week. So after we finish, there'll just be a cold, empty blackness of nothingness.
Yeah, but if you stare at it for long enough, a ghost might appear.
I just suggest everyone go around their homes and turn their lights on and off to make sure they all work okay. And, speaking of keeping the lights on, we're going to go have lunch.
Yeah.
We love you.
Thanks for watching. Go listen to Podcast Beyond and all the other junk we do.
Yep. Slam
did it.
dunk.
Slam dunk.
Slam
Basketball
dunk.
teens.
Slam dunk.
Slam dunk.
Yeah.
Do a dunk. Put the basketball in the hoop. And get the points and get the scores and doing all the dunks. I'm a basketball man and I'm doing hoops and I gotta slam the ball and running down up on the court when I play basketball. Cause it's slamming hoops, doing the jam, doing the hoops all over the thing with my hands. Then I use my balls and the basketball and I get the points and I score. And I get the trophies
still
and the
filming?
basketball.
Are they cut?